Feature Friday.
The freshest.
And we're live, ladies and gents.
Hello, people. Welcome to Feature Friday Plus. Today is the day of chilling
Yeah.
and talking
Sunday.
and coffee,
Sunday vibes.
which I'm totally lacking, by the way.
Yeah, Sunday vibes. It's been a mad week. Been a mad week, bruv.
A mad week,
What's another thing people say here apart from bruv?
bruv.
We're about to teach you some British lingo. Actually, it's not really lingo. It's just, I don't know. What do you call it?
Murdering of the language.
Nah. Just sort of like, say you were in school, right? And you're sort of like, you think you're
Nutella
cool.
boy.
No, and you think you're really cool. You
Yeah.
would speak like this.
Ugh, Roman
Innit?
style.
Yeah.
Ooh, so bad.
I just don't like it. I mean, to be fair though, I was part of the problem because I used to talk like that when I was sort of like beginning to understand English because some of the people around me spoke like that. So I
but
thought that was the way.
That's not your fault. You can't think that that's your problem because
No, I said I was part of it.
No, you can't. You can't take that responsibility because you were an analphabeta.
Yeah, I was so ignorant. Yeah.
You were so ignorant. You were just copying what everybody
You know
else
what?
was doing around.
If that's actually how you talk, I have no problem with that. Like if that's
yeah.
that's how you are, that's fine. I just don't. I don't know. There's something about it that it just feels like I don't know. You're kind of doing it to be cool.
It depends on who you're like talking to as well. Hold this for a sec.
Do you feel like say you're talking to I don't know, some of your friends from like theater, right? You know, because you guys train to be like have what do you call that RP?
Yeah, received pronunciation.
Yeah, because when you're doing theater and stuff, there's some characters that have to speak a certain way. Actually, most
No,
characters.
you actually no. It depends on the character and whatever play you're playing, like you're in. But it's like learning the basics, and like
Right.
one of the basic things that you have to learn is how to pronounce things the right way. Because there, like for example, people here in London, they tend to sound the th as an f when it's at the
Right.
sound, like a lisp
Yeah.
positioning of the tongue, and it changes completely the intonation and inflection of the word itself.
Especially if you're singing, and then also I think it's just a matter of like diction.
And
Isn't
it makes you more neutral.
Yeah. I agree.
It makes you way more understandable for everybody. So it doesn't really matter whether you have an accent or not. It doesn't really fall under received pronunciation. Doesn't fall under eradicating accents,
Right.
but purifying the language itself. So you have a clear diction, and no matter how strong your accent is, people will be able still to understand you from miles away.
Yeah.
Which that's what theater is.
Right. Yeah, I do agree though. Like to some extent, you do have to try and sort of sound the best, like the most understandable, or speak the most understandable English that you possibly can learn if you're gonna be like in front of thousands of people and stuff like that.
Yep.
Because you might be saying stuff and then people might be like, oh, I don't know what he's saying.
Or you might be sounding beautifully singing this wonderful song, but people have absolutely no idea how to connect with you because they have no clue what you're saying. And remember, theater and a performance is always a communication with you and the audience.
Right.
It's a conversation. So you can't expect people to have a certain reaction if they can't really understand what you're saying.
Do you find it hard? Say like you had to, you're a character, right? And maybe your friends are like this as well. Say a character is like, he is someone with a French accent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a English French accent, and then you're sort of singing. Do you have to then sing with an English French accent?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, you have to relearn the song if you've already learned it in like a normal English way.
Right.
Like, cause say for example, what I used to do is I used to ask my directors right off the bat, what accent am I gonna do this in?
Right.
So I learned it in that way, right from
From
the
the beginning.
So I didn't have to reteach my muscles, like how to say certain things in a certain way.
I feel like that'd be really good for like a comedy show.
I remember doing a German accent for a song.
That's rough.
Ooh, so hard, but I already knew the song, so it was twice twice the amount of work.
Because you had to relearn.
Because I had to and I had to tape my voice coach, like saying the things how they're supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And I had to phonetically repeat them for hours on end, and then try to sing it with that way. Oh, it was the hardest thing.
That's tough. I can only do accents if I hear it, and it's funny sentence.
Oh no, you're actually pretty good at picking up accents.
Like say because I love watching the UFC, and there's so many UFC. In case you don't know, I don't know. Maybe you do.
I didn't know about it until you mentioned
right.
it.
That's why I say that stuff, because I feel like most people that kind of watch, sort of the music that we're into and the music that we're starting to learn and stuff like that. I feel like they're more under your lane of likings, in free time. So that's why I say sometimes people may not know. To me, they may be obvious, like UFC. You know what I mean? It's it's an MMA organization, which is like mixed martial arts, and it's the biggest in the world, which means you get fighters from all over the world, and they always speak English in a different way. You get Brazilians, you get Russians, you get people from all over the world, and then you get obviously Americans with different accents depending on the state they're on. So sort of like that someone's talking, then because you're hearing them talk so much in a press conference, I find that for a second, I pick up that accent for a good second.
You're actually pretty good at picking up accents. I remember when
I don't think I'm good. I just think it's annoying because it's the same in Spanish.
I was gonna say, I remember you watching when you were obsessed with football. You would watch the Barcelona
And Real Madrid.
Yeah, and Real
Madrid
or whoever it was, and then you would make the voice overs as it was happening.
Oh, the commentary when I was a kid.
The commentary, and I remember thinking, how did he learn how to speak Spanish from Spain?
Yeah.
But this weirdo sounds exactly as if he came out of Spain. He's adopted.
Yeah, I don't know. It was problematic, especially when we were on TV, because I had friends which were from different parts of Venezuela, and they would speak with different accents. You remember, I was hanging around with maybe someone who was from the east, right, and they would speak in a different way for someone like us who were more central, we were literally next to the capital. And if you're on TV, you can't just one day speak one way and then the next day speak another.
Yeah, no, it's very difficult. I don't think people can actually.
I don't know what's the most difficult. What's the most I'd say Korean is probably one of the most difficult languages I've seen.
Actually,
Chinese is also a joke of an accent, not an accent, language on its own.
Chinese is very different though, because they have different ramifications, like Hindu. They have different ramifications depending on the area, geographically speaking. Like Hindu has 5, I don't even know how many, but it has and the language changes so much.
Right.
It becomes a new language, but it's in the same country.
Weird.
It's very strange, and sometimes people. I remember what was I watching? It was a stand-up comedy show.
Yeah.
Of this Indian lady. She was absolutely brilliant, fantastic show. But she said the same phrase in 3 different languages that were from the same region as her parents.
Right.
And she used to say, and if you didn't know the other 2 regions and the way they spoke their language, then you were in a pickle, and they were only miles away from each other. Yeah, and it's a completely different language, and that to me was
we do know that in China it is there's so many different, as you said, ramifications of Chinese. There's Mandarin, and then there's other stuff I obviously don't know. Hence
Mandarin is super hard.
Hence why it's probably such a difficult language to learn. And I do wonder, knowing that, because we've heard so much of Korean music, I do wonder whether in Korea, North, do they speak a certain way, or the South, do they speak a certain way?
They do speak in different ways, and I know
does grammar matter? Does grammar sort of change?
No, it doesn't really change. It's more of a dialect that changes up in the North and the South.
It's more than sort of
Los maracuchos y los caraqueños.
Right, I see. It's not as far as Venezuelans and Colombians. It wouldn't be that far.
Well, I think it might be.
Right.
They like there's certain
Expressions is completely different.
Yeah, and there's certain things that they just simply don't know of, like certain modifications to the language and slang is not permitted in North Korea.
Right.
So there's a very, if you want to think about it, detoxed Korean language up north.
Right.
But I think it's forced by the circumstances. Yeah. Which is just very bizarre. That's another thing that I will never understand.
Wild. Well, talking about Korean music, let's we've heard quite a bit of Korean music actually this week, because we were watching obviously the live performances, and if you've missed that, go check it out. We've done a part 1, and I saw a lot of people in the comments mention that they couldn't find the part 1. It's not that the podcast was broken into 2 parts, it's that I think it was like 3 weeks ago we did.
I think it's because you liked it so much, and I have been asking and sending so many more requests.
I did like actually, yeah.
The live performances overall. I said to Efra, I think the people really want us to keep watching live performances, so it's really cool that you guys got to enjoy it with us.
Yeah, it is very different watching like a live performance of a song and a single from a studio. I do find that, as I said before, it's like sometimes a song that you thought was maybe not your favorite, or even a song, actually I'd go as far as saying a song that you thought was bad. Yeah, I was like, why is this here in this album or something like that? And you go watch it live, and then you're sort of like, oh, this makes so much more sense now, or this is actually one of my favorite ones because the performance was just mind blowing and it's so memorable. So it is really different, and it does change my perspective on pop, because I've always said that pop, and I've never really been to a pop concert, like an artist that specifically only does pop. So I don't know what that experience is like. So maybe I am biased to my own ignorance.
Aren't we all though?
Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of pop. So that's why I've been so pleasantly surprised with the fact that with Korean pop, it isn't just because it's Korean pop. I just think it's because they do things so differently, and they really do pay attention to the craft and pay attention to talent. And I do actually think to some bands it hurts them that they're doing so much pop, because
yeah, definitely, because there's so much talent in so many of these guys that kind of goes untapped until they do solo projects, and then that's when you really get like a glimpse of who they are.
The bad thing though is like at the same time, that is how they're gonna sell the most. Through that genre, pop, electronic pop,
party EDM type of like festival vibe, because it moves so many people. And I actually think it also depends on the atmosphere. Say for example, you listen to Medusa, right? A Medusa track.
Yeah.
Here in London.
Yeah.
And you think about it, when you hear it on the radio, you're like, oh my god, this is so unnecessary. I hate this song. Change the radio station.
I actually like them.
But then
weirdly enough.
But then you put it, then it's played in the club with your friends, and that's the best bloody song that ever existed, right? So it's just very funny. It depends on the atmosphere and the environment that you're in the moment that you're listening to a certain type of music.
Yeah.
And I always say that you have to be very open-minded when it comes to learning about a new album or a new artist or whatever, because it might have the right place and the right moment to listen to the album.
I agree, and as I said before, it's like one of the biggest points and takeaways that we've had while listening to so much music and reviewing and giving our opinions publicly. It's that your mood, environment, and who you're listening to, who you're listening with, matters so much more sometimes than the actual content of who you're listening to.
Yeah, I agree.
So say you're in a really happy mood and you really listen to a happy album, it's gonna create that synchronicity. It's gonna be
like kismet moment.
Exactly. But then say you're really sad, right? Or say you're in a really low mood or low energy, and you listen to a really poppy, electronic, happy album.
It's
gonna be like,
gonna do the trick for you. Yeah.
You're gonna create resistance, natural resistance.
Yeah.
So it's really like been really eye-opening in the fact that maybe sometimes when you listen to a song, you shouldn't just write it off like that, because there might be a certain time and place. However, I do feel like you must be critical to some extent, because fans' criticism, or just say you're not a fan but you're starting to become interested in something, your criticism and how critical you are of certain artists and their art, it's gonna impact their future art. Yeah. So to some extent, as a fan, you also have to have some sort of a standard of and also personal likings, but also a quality standard of, well, that wasn't good enough, or that wasn't what we really wanted, or that wasn't what we expected, or that wasn't what we wanted, because at the end of the day, as I always say, the market dictates the product. The product doesn't dictate the market. So if fans are not happy, there's something you should do differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Well, so let's go with the first album that we listened to today.
We heard, to begin with, we got a headache.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah. Let's listen to. Sorry, we saw Monsta X, Fantasia.
Fantasia, and it is pronounced Fantasia.
Yeah.
And not Fantasia, like I thought it was supposed to be.
So, first song was obviously Fantasia, and I mentioned it when we watched the video. I said it's not a song that I would listen to and repeat. That it's way too commercial for me. However, with the video, it is a really enjoyable experience. This happened as well when we watched NCT Punch.
Yeah.
Right? I felt like the video made the song.
Yes.
And I felt like it was more about an experience rather than the song. I feel the same with Flow. There's so many hidden meanings. There's so many hidden...
Oh, you mean
Fantasia.
Fantasia.
There's so many hidden meanings, so many hidden Easter eggs. So many little things to take away from the video.
There's a lot to analyze in the music video, but the song obviously played a very fundamental part there.
Oh yeah, it creates the experience, doesn't it? Yeah. And the video adds more to that experience. I felt like it became better with the video. That's how I felt with that. And if you want to check out our thoughts for that, we did watch it.
So it is up in the channel somewhere. You can probably link it. In the description below, so you can go watch it.
And then it goes with Flow, and I said heavy commercial K-pop song. It's really another commercial hit, which I think that's what his purpose is. His intent is let's try and create as much noise. Let's try and create as much noise on the market, so that people know and all fans know, hey, we're here. Monsta X has just released, and this song, possible those two could be enormous hits.
I actually believe that's a enormous hit potential right there and then.
Flow, yeah. So I said.
Plus, I love the name of the song. Like Flow. so much happens in Flow, you know? Not just the gangster with slang word of like, oh, it's hip, oh, it's like hip hop, you know?
Yeah.
It's so much happens on the flow of life, the flow of breathing.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
I wasn't a big fan of the raps, because I felt like it was too electronic and pop for it to have a rap. However, that's just personal taste. So to let us know if you did like the raps in like the more heavy electronic pops. Than I did. Then it goes to Zone, and this is where I think the album really turned really interesting for me, and it really intrigued me, because I felt like I was going through time. I was really traveling back in time, and then back in out to the future to some extent, because this really feels. If you've ever heard Chris Brown, or you're a fan of Chris Brown, I mean you probably have heard Chris Brown, but if you're a fan of Chris Brown, you probably remember Fortune, the album from 2012.
Yeah, that song was so like
Zone.
Yeah, it was so. It resembled a lot the same high energy. I pictured a lot of colors, a lot of like kids dancing somewhere. It's a very high energy thing.
Yeah, so it's yeah. So I just said it really reminds me of Chris Brown's Fortune Vibe album. So it took me back to those years, and how weird those years were. Like, everyone thought it was gonna be the end of the world. Do you remember that? Like 2012. Yep.
Oh, apparently.
What?
Thinking moment. When we changed from the lunar in the 1500s, we changed from the lunar calendar to what the calendar is today. Apparently, we lost 8 years, right?
8 years.
8 years, because we couldn't figure it out.
One sec, hold that thought, just the camera. We couldn't figure what out?
How to like countableized time properly in the 1500s.
Okay.
But we decided, like humans decided, that it was more effective to go month by month in the way that it is now, rather than the lunar cycle.
Yeah.
And we lost a year. So, conspiracy theory, 2020 then actually would be 2012, which means it is the end of the world. You know?
Dude, are you high? What?
I read it.
You said we lost
8 years.
Oh, right. So we go back.
Yeah, no, we don't have. Yeah. So if we.
So you're saying if we've lost 10 years, 8 years.
Yeah, we're not in 2020.
That's why when people thought, like, you know how they were always
2012
predicting.
and everybody thought that 2012 was like the end of the world.
Bloody hell.
It's because it wasn't 2012. 2012 is actually now. And now the world is ending.
Who forwarded you that Twitter post?
I searched it myself at 4 o'clock in the morning. I stumbled across that. Never mind.
You imagine though, that is wild. Can you imagine that's actually true and that's what people like saw coming? It's like this whole madness that's going on.
We knew it was happening. The aliens in their spaceships.
Dude, and there has been aliens this year, like UFOs and stuff. Wild, dude. There's been so much going on this year.
I'm telling you, people, the children, I feel bad for the children in 2055 or 2080 when they're gonna be studying the world's history, and then they stumble across 2020 and there's like each chapter for each week of the freaking year.
Yeah. Hopefully after this year things do change though. You know, that it sort of leads to, because there's so much conflict right now, hopefully this conflict does lead to a positive resolution.
Yeah, I think there's always a silver lining, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope so. So yeah, I said that Zone was, I like how they exploit the vocal line in this song.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. It really stood out for me.
Simple sentences, but highly harmonical.
Harmonious.
Harmonious, sorry. A harmonica.
Very harmonical.
Yeah, so it's I just felt it's such a like festival party music.
Mm-hmm.
I said not a big fan of the drops. Oh, the drops chords. You know when they dropped?
Oh yeah.
The chords were weird.
It just kind of took away the
vocal harmony of it.
No, you know what it took away? The potential of exploding. Like
it was a weird drop.
It took away the hype of the drop itself.
Yeah, I said, however,
it's pretty cool though.
I said, however, it's produced well enough that it manages energy really well, so it doesn't overload. Because I feel like this type of songs can become exhausting for some, because it's so high paced. There's a drop everywhere, and then bam, it relaxes. So it's really well produced. It's a good, well produced song.
Yeah, the production overall in that album is just outstanding. The way they mastered and mixed their voices, their vocals. You know when people say the vocals should sit on top of the music?
Yeah.
They really did that in this album.
Yeah.
Like really, really did that.
You're right, actually. Yeah, it does. They really do pop, but not in a way that is over.
Oh my God, what are you doing? But it was seamless enough, but the attention was where it's supposed to be. It's like when you place a right spotlight.
Yeah, let us know who the overall producer of this was. Maybe it was just.
I think it's a combination. I think usually
all of them?
on K-pop artists when they release EPs and stuff,
right.
They usually is like a combo of different producers with different sounds and different backgrounds that come together.
Then Chaotic came along, and I said interesting beginning with the sort of "We Will Rock You" vibe. Dum dum.
Yes.
That
must be amazing live, I tell ya. Not one of my favorite ones in the EP, but I am 100% convinced that song live would probably knock my socks off.
That's what I mean. I feel like that song. Yeah, I agree. And then the vocal line really helps with the heavy electronic signature of the album. It really, really does help. And that na 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 na, that part is really well made. I thought the rap section was probably my favorite part of the song, because it really does what it intends to do. It amps you up. It makes you feel hard, which is sort of that Monsta X signature move.
I was gonna say, we know Monsta X for the most bizarre and like
Mellow songs.
Yeah, mellow songs,
Yeah.
which is the weirdest thing because they actually are this guys.
Yep, yeah.
This is Monsta X, and we're actually getting to know them for their signature sound.
Right.
I didn't know they were capable of.
Well, maybe this is maybe to some extent I do feel could be also a bit of them stepping outside of their comfort zone. I would like to hear from you guys in letting us know whether you think was it a bit experimental, was it a bit outside of their comfort zone, was it bang on in their comfort zone, because we haven't consumed enough albums from Monsta X to kind of get what they are in terms of album wise. But I do feel that hard signature move from all the videos with not signature move but signature sound does come along on this one with the rap, and I really like the rapping line that they have. Blah, 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 blah. I said, then Beautiful Night is less electronic pop, heavy 2012 pop music vibe with the guitar.
Oh my god, it was
acoustic
no
guitar.
Air, Chris Brown, Back in the House. Oh, we keep bringing back Chris Brown, but like the influence is so.
I don't know. Maybe
it's so for me especially. It's just so there. It's so present, and I'm not saying, oh, they're just ripping off people. No. It's the first thing that comes to mind because that's the music that I listen to the most.
So that's sold. It's a good idea to try and
absolutely
model
but
that.
I think that's my favorite song. I was singing along to that chorus, and the whole song, mumbling around with it.
Yeah.
Since the second it started. Why? Don't know. There's the magic element, that magic powder element that they put into that combo there. That is just so good.
Yeah. So
definitely my favorite song.
It really did bring me back to that 2012 pop acoustic type beat.
Justin Bieber-ish.
Yeah. It really. I've always said before in other podcasts, I'm really interested to see who these guys look up to and who these guys sort of listen to in their off time, because even if they're not trying to actively model them, they're subconsciously trying to create music that they also are a fan of. So it'll be really interesting. I said it does a really good job with the rap line. Like they do a really good job with rap lines, because the rap line breaks rapport, and the vocal lines, which are so smooth and so harmonious, they start creating rapport again.
Yeah, so they stabilize each other. They're
so
like
this push
balance.
And pull.
Yeah. This balance is really good.
One of my favorite songs on the album so far. I just feel like I'm traveling in time. One of my favorite ones for sure. Then it goes to It Ain't Over. I said favorite beat. However, I personally I didn't like sort of the vocal beginning. But one of my but again I'm a rapper, right? So it's obvious to me perhaps why it would be one of my favorite raps in the whole album.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't too like crazed about the rapping in this album. I think they all played their parts really well.
Yeah.
It was pretty well balanced overall. Yeah.
The chord progression was fine. The vibe it created was fine. And then I said to finish off with Stand Up. Me personally, I've never been a fan of like chant vocals.
Yeah.
But this is another point you brought up when we were listening to it. It's like, say we're listening to it live, or we're going to that concert live, this would absolutely murder, because everyone would be like, what was it they say? Everybody stand up. Stand up.
Something like that. It's so good. Could you imagine the buzz?
Dude, everyone would go wild with this. So it is what it is in terms of a studio album song. But I don't feel like I would replay that one. But I would definitely talk about that one to my friends if I go to a Monsta X concert.
Definitely. That's one of those songs that you have to be on the lookout when you actually see them live.
Yeah, I agree. Apart from that, I think it's a great album. Just the little bips and bobs here and there that I just think come down to like a personal taste in terms of that is electronic pop. But
it's so really hearable, and I think if you play that at a party, people will actually go wild.
Definitely.
That whole album, it's one of those albums that is worth having on your playlist just for those random moments where you need a little boost and stuff.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. Okay.
So the next album that we really like. Can you pass me a charger, please?
Yeah.
The next album that we reviewed was Twice, and this was of course a huge album because not only I think this is a huge move for Twice in terms of their Western market value and how much they're gonna impact the Western market. Because the more I heard this album, the more I realized it's like, you know, there was a clear purpose here, and there's also not only a clear purpose, but there's also them showcasing that we can make hits. We can also make hits, global hits.
Yeah.
Not just hits that resonate with people that know who we are or people that are into the Korean world, so the Korean pop world. So it was really, really interesting listening to this album. And it began with obviously More and More, which was the title track. If you want to check our opinions on that,
the reaction, it's in my channel. It's probably, I probably link it down below so you can have a look at that as well. And
then it goes into Oxygen. And then the first thing that came into my head when we were listening to Oxygen is, I wonder if they have any ballads. Like, so do please let us know if Twice has ballads or slower songs.
They must do. I mean, they're vocally capable. The fact that they don't include them in their mini albums doesn't mean that they don't exist. And like, I know they do a lot of ballad work, or they turn some of their songs into ballads for concerts and special requests and stuff. I can't speak. My tongue is like all tied.
Yeah. So because they're just in the beginning of Oxygen, you just straight away see like, just because they do pop and electronic pop, and sometimes this isn't the best platform to showcase vocal capability. You just know, dude. You can obviously tell from the start. It's like they're just much more than just hit making. That's also essence behind the product.
Yeah. And not only that, even if the song is very high energy and like, it's heavy on the production of the track itself. By the way, in that whole album, the track production is absolutely insane. It is mind-blowing. Like, one song after the other, your brain's going like, what the hell's happening in the music? It's so good.
Yeah.
But apart from being a dance hit, Oxygen, you can also tell that even though the vocals aren't, so demanding, you can tell the girls have incredible vocal capabilities, because even in the little things, they really do stand out vocally speaking. So it's exciting.
Yes, I say again, huge potential in Western market. But I feel like this song is one of those songs that gets better as you listen to it. The more you listen to it, the more it grows on you. I wasn't a big fan of some of the rapping lines, but I think again that's just a matter of personal taste. But again, the biggest takeaway is like, it's wild the level of production and how far sound engineering has come. Honestly. Just in general, like worldwide, this album is such good evidence to show like production.
Timestamp the change of music, like in production itself. Yeah,
it's wild the value that this girls and the label and the people that have worked on this album has brought. So we were trying to find out who worked in the album with them, but we couldn't really find many. We couldn't find anything, or who worked in these specific songs. But I do remember. Oh, there it is.
It was.
So the instruments were Johan Gustafsson, composer. Go down.
I'm sorry. Just give me a second.
He's worked with NCT.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Also, who else that we can recognize? Any names to recognize? Not many names to recognize in that song.
Overall, you know.
So yeah, there are a lot of people that have worked on this. So I just said it's just crazy, how far sound engineering and production has come.
Yeah, I mean, the mixing engineers and the mastering engineers are like absolutely insane. They're really out of their freaking minds, because what they created there with people's voices, with the girls' voices, was like top notch.
Because it's sometimes it's difficult with certain beats to showcase and really highlight each member, So and I thought they did a really, really good job in this specific song. Then Firework, and again, the first thing when you listen to Firework is like, what in the world?
It's happening.
It's happening with production, dude. Like that is nuts. how good production
and
is.
not what the hell, as in like, stop, that's nasty. Isn't like, oh my god, my freaking brain is gonna pop.
Like, they know something other producers don't.
Yeah, literally, the work that they're doing is like beyond. I mean, they did put a live band into this.
Brilliant.
Into this song.
Brilliant.
And it was composed by a number of people, so you can tell because a lot of thought went into this album, but especially in the song as well. I believe
it was this was a song that was kind of reggaetonish.
Yeah,
with that guitar riff.
That
Spanish
guitar
guitar
was like, and the vocal riff in the chorus.
Yeah.
With that slight hint of Spanish vocalization was so good. Not a flamenco way of singing, but a pop. Spanish pop. It was so good.
Please tell me the name of the guitarist.
Of course.
That person murdered Slyberry, Badd. I don't know who that is.
Slyberry.
And he also did the bass.
Yep.
I'm guessing it's a person. It was just wild. That song. It's hard for me, for someone like me, obviously with our musical background in terms of Latino and Latin American and Spanish, and it's hard for someone like me not to like that song. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's very difficult. It's like they played all the cards right on that song.
They really did. I mean, you play that in South America, you'd be dancing and singing along to that. I actually think that would be a hit in Spain as well.
Yeah, well, I hope so, dude. I want them to just be globally huge because they're actually, there's essence to the product. They're actually good.
I believe they are. They are iconic already. I think they're on their way of world conquering.
Yeah. Then he goes on to Make Me Go. Again, I was like, WTF with the production value of this EP. It's nuts. Probably my favorite song. Bassline, Korean sounds, and bassline and the Korean, the language Korean sounds so bloody good on that song. I don't know what it is, and I've always said it. It's very percussive language. It's a very, very rhythmical language. So it really helps kill the delivery. It's brutal how good it is.
Yeah, and actually specifically in this song, the beat, the rhythm of the song really helps highlight the natural charm of the language itself.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like brought it up to your attention, even though you knew they were speaking in Korean. You knew that the music is such a huge part of it, but the rhythmical elements that came together really highlighted the percussive touch to the language. And yeah, I agree with you. It really enhanced it.
I said that riffs are really well placed. The English didn't feel weird or out of place because the Korean language in itself was so percussive, and it really drove you in and took you into deep waters. So when they started speaking in English a little bit, they were saying yeah boy, or do it and stuff like that. It didn't feel out of place, or it didn't feel like, oh, we have to use English because we have also an American and English speaking market.
And it didn't feel like here is the catchphrase.
No, it didn't. I just think the whole album so far at this point was so well made, and the spoken word bit, the kind of
the overlaid, it kind of gave
reciting.
Me like, it was his speech quality part of the song. It kind of gave me like Destiny's Child.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Like even the beat itself, it kind of made me a bit think of early R&B, like really early Beyonce, and it was really good. I actually think that was one of my favorite songs.
Definitely, that was my favorite song. Yeah. It was brilliant. That part, that little spoken word bit was brilliant. And then it goes to Shadow, and I wrote in capital letters, the album keeps improving. The album keeps really building on itself and improving. I have to be completely honest. From the Twice performances, the Twice songs we've heard, as I've always said, I am not a huge fan of pop. So pop, I always take it with a grain of salt. It's because I feel like it's more about sales rather than showcasing certain qualities or complexity.
But it's a necessary evil.
I don't want to call it an evil, but I understand what you're saying. Well,
that's the saying.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary factor because without those commercial elements, then we wouldn't know who they are and what they can bring to the table, and we wouldn't be discovering new artists through them, you know. So
I did go into this obviously with an open mind, and because I like him, just so not an open mind, I kind of went in liking them because I definitely do, and I think it's so obvious that I do.
Yeah.
So, but I just didn't expect for a pop album to resonate so well with me. You know what I mean? So I just said it keeps improving. The vocals are awesome.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
And I said it's so bloody marketable in the Western world.
Oh, easy work. Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Then it goes, Don't Call Me Again, which you said, I wrote what you said. He said, very little mixy. Like, it has that sort of a girl band that...
No, girl power.
That's what it is.
That's what he has. He has the ultimate...
Girl gang
power.
Yeah.
And it's easy, like, any girl's dream. Any 10-year-old girl's dream to be part of, like, this unbreakable unity that is singing together.
Do you remember how I've been listening lately to that Euphoria track list of that album, that series?
Yeah.
There's some vocals in the back, like ooh, that type of stuff, which is like eerie, kind of like ghostly. It felt like that in some of those riffs. It felt very Euphoria-like.
They had very very interesting picks on the riffs and voice fillers, because I wouldn't have picked those effects and those spacey decorations, vocally speaking, because I didn't think the track would fit that, you know.
Yeah.
Especially as the album keeps moving forward. Yeah.
Then it finished off with Sweet Summer Day, and I feel like this is probably gonna be. I felt like that was a song that probably resonates with perhaps some of their original fans, like some of the fans that started with them.
That is the heart clenching song.
Yeah. So it felt like a really Twice song, and I think that one is just a matter of like, look how far production has come with, from our beginning. Look how far we've come, and also that we haven't lost who we were and who we are.
Yeah.
So
it's that moment where you look back. You look back to all your journey and where you've been and where you've ended.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have like this final product, and then you can kind of compare it to the first product that you ever made.
I guess, yeah.
And then because everybody has a sound, so it's nice to have their sound at the end of the album to finish it all off, you know, to give you a little reminder we're still here. We're not just doing this for the sale.
I think we were right with like our interpretation of the album in terms of like, how the opening song was More and More.
Mm-hmm.
It was about, when you start kind of falling in love with that person and you want more and more, and you're sort of in this beginning of the relationship, and it's sort of obsessive to some extent.
And everything is like you're walking in a fairy tale, but in reality it's more tribal. It's more about learning about each other. It's more hard work than it is fantastical.
I see. Yeah, so overall I think if you're not a Twice fan and you go into this, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. If you're a Twice fan, I think you're going to see huge growth, and you're going to see like their huge marketing steps they're taking, which was, to me, they were so obvious. We're trying not only now to appease to our fans, we're trying now to become an attraction
to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful piece of work, honestly. The whole thing, the concept, the costumes, the idea of wanting more and more, everything about it is just very nice. And if you go down to Genius, you can read some of the girls' testimonials and how they feel about what the concept of the album is about. And yeah, worth the read. Is absolutely fantastic. I love that.
Awesome. Now we've got Lay Lit, which obviously he released basically a movie.
It took months to film, like months in advance to film.
Doesn't surprise me, mate.
That's right. It's like a whole movie production. I read some of Twitter threads and stuff about the whole meaning of the video as well, And oh my god, the man's mind works in such ways
Crazy.
that, and he directed it himself.
Yeah.
Like he came up with the concept, and he produced the tracks. He chose the costumes and what each thing represented, and everything. Just when you read, I'm gonna send it to you. When you read everything that he intended to do and how it came about,
Wild.
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much to dissect on that video. It was so hard to just watch and then come with a conclusion that hopefully leads to some people, not some people, but doing it some justice to some extent. You know what I mean? It was just wild, and it actually, with the whole video, I felt like it kind of made me angry at how good it was, and I hope I'm wrong. I want this to be the biggest hit of the year because I think it's the best video of the year.
And not only the best video, but the whole mini album together, all of it is just so great. It's such a solid. I think we had a great time listening to that.
Joke, mate.
And
Favorite album of the week?
Poetically speaking, it was like top notch.
For what, mate?
Poetically.
Oh, poetically.
Speaking.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh, you mean like lyricism?
Yeah, like the lyricism and everything about it, like the imagery that he was trying to portray. We'll get through the songs and then I'll tell you exactly what it is.
What have you got there?
This is his fourth solo album, by the way.
Oh, mate, you gotta check out the other ones. We were gonna check out like some other solo work from some EXO members and also some BTS members, like RM's mixtapes and August D's original mixtape. But because we had so much new stuff that came out, we still have that in the list. It's just sort of keeping up with everyone, you know what I mean? It's a bit hard, but we will do and get to sort of like older albums and stuff like that. Maybe we should do like a back in time special, you know?
Yeah, like a time machine special.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
He actually doesn't fall in the K-pop.
Well, of course he doesn't.
Genre,
so
right?
speaking Korean.
Yeah, but Efra, he is a K-pop idol, even though he's Chinese, right?
Yeah, but he's not speaking Korean, so you can't.
No, I know that, but he falls into the M-pop, which is a mix of Mandarin pop.
I read it in the comments.
With a style of traditional Chinese music, with the motive of past life and prosperity. Okay?
No. Past life and posterity.
Prosperity too. I can't read because I can't have my glasses on right now. But yeah, it's just there is so much. There are so many layers to this project.
Yeah.
And overall, there's got the depth of it.
A lot of depth.
It's so sentimental and full of nostalgia, but it has a very strong message to all those who doubted him, you know? All those who digged at him.
Yeah.
And there's no bigger flex than your success. You know? Yeah. There really isn't. Like, you don't have to be like, I got a brand new car, when your freaking video is kicking butts all around the world.
Yeah,
you
good
know?
point.
So go ahead. Let's have a listen. Talk to me about the first song of the album.
So Jade, that's the second song of the album because obviously the first song it's Lit, which if you want to check that out, we obviously checked out the movie.
The mini movie, which by the way was super short. I could have enjoyed a whole
hour,
2 hours of that
yeah.
Because I want to see who the mean people were.
Hands down, best video of the year.
Yeah.
To me, anyways. Then it goes to Jade, right? So I said, so happy that Murder Beats has made a song with Lay. I'm so happy because I called it from the beginning, and I also called it when we were watching August D in his solo album, because there's so much potential for American beat producers, right, or just Western beat producers to collaborate with these guys because they're so hard and they're actually, you know, rappers. They're not just pop idols. They're genuine rappers. So
the what's interesting about it is that he actually has been very actively involved in the music industry in America. it is say dance, the entertainment industry, I meant to say.
Right.
Say it's dance, say it's talk shows, say it's music producing. Like he finds a way to get involved.
He's Canadian, sorry. Murder Beats is Canadian, not American.
Anyways, but I'm talking about like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
quite involved in the international idea of entertainment.
Yep.
So his sound is very what's popping right now, right here, but with such a nostalgic air and a strong pride of where he comes from and who he is.
You're gonna like what I wrote, because as we progress in the other songs, you basically stolen the words out of my fingers. So I said, yeah, so happy that Murder Beats has made a beat for Lay and they've collaborated, and this also means that other Canadian beat producers, he's also going to talk about this, because this was a great fucking song. And I said, it's awesome. And I said it gave me like commercial R&B rap, right? So it's accessible to everyone, but it goes hard. It goes so hard.
It does. It's a really good slap in the face as a second track. I really, really like that song.
And that's exactly what I love. It goes right down my alleyway, because I can talk to friends. I can talk to people and be like, look, listen to this. And it makes me excited.
And you know what's weird? It was really bizarre to me is the Chinese, like how Chinese sounds so... I don't know. It's so breathy. It has so many sounds of it. It's a breathy language for like as a fact.
Yeah.
So it's so weird to see it in a hip hop setting.
I see.
Like I would have never thought that it would slap so hard.
I'll be interested in checking out if you have any requests of any M-pop artists. I'll be interested in that, because I really liked how I'm guessing this was Mandarin.
Yes, it is.
How he wrote the beat with that language. And the interesting bit is that the English parts, as I always say, it's easy sometimes. There was a lot of English, by the way, a lot. So that's what I mean. I got so excited, because he was like, this is just so much more than just someone who is from a band that it's from China, making music.
Trying to prove that they can do more than what you thought they could do.
It was so much more. He's such a product on himself.
And it's so honest. It's so goddamn honest. And I have a thing about that, an artist though, because sometimes you like, most of the times actually, what you get, it's a blend box made of what you're supposed to achieve in the industry, and most of these artists are unhappy with their craft because it's not something that they wanted to make. And listen, you gotta suck it up, Buttercup. If you wanna sell, you gotta do what people tell you to do, right?
Yeah.
Because, like you said, the market really dictates what you have to make for them.
Yeah. Definitely.
So it's so cool to see him at this stage in his life, at this point in his career, where he can decide what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
He's a boss, and I really hope he's happy with this project, because you can see it's absolute. He really wore his heart on his sleeve in this project. So, spoiler alert, one of my favorite songs, Jade. Then Ego, I said probably produced by him, because I couldn't find anything. For some reason in Genius, you couldn't find anything online. Couldn't really find anything.
No, here.
So let us know if you know who actually produced this, because I couldn't.
If you haven't, if you don't, if you can't find it, it's most likely produced and composed by him.
Yeah, I said this is how you make your culture and your sort of your native sounds, your country shine, by giving it twangs, by giving it highlights, by giving it, not making it its whole purpose, but by giving it the flair it's due to this effect. And the Chinese twangs, the Chinese sounds, what's so unique, and it makes the flow, was so to some extent monotonous because it was that low voice. But this little, weird instruments and sounds that you're not used to hearing, but you recognize that are from China.
And it's just so refreshing because there's this whole hybrid genre that he has created there. The next one is H2O, and I have to say that's definitely one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, just in case, mate. He sings. Just in case you forgot.
Yeah, just in case
sings.
you literally went over your head, because every single song before that, it was literally just showing you how to rap. Okay? But in H2O, the poetry was so beautiful and romantic, but he was also very demanding in his lyrics.
Okay.
So he wasn't saying, oh, here's a drop of water, it happens to be here. No. He was like, I am this, and I depend on you, so make a choice, go ahead, do it. Right? So that whole thought process behind the cycle of what happens to water and apply it to a romantic setting, to me was like so smart, super smart.
Yeah, what I wrote was just in case you forgot, he sings, and just in case you forgot again, he's a multi-talented individual. This is one of those projects that angers me to some extent because of how good it is.
Yeah,
and like, how much love and support it deserves. Because it deserves everything.
Yeah, you know when you have that one friend that picks up any skill literally in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and you're like, how did you do that? It literally took me 25 years to get here, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like, I'm not saying that he's the guy that picks up a skill in 2 seconds, but I have to say that he
seems like a fast learner.
And not only a fast learner, but he's like ahead of it.
Right, I see.
He's like seeing the move before it happens.
Well, he is, to me, even in EXO, like the one of the coolest guys.
Yeah, there's that leader, like...
cool.
Yeah, presence about him, like aura, So yes. Cool.
So I say, it's how it's, to some extent, makes me angry because of how good it is. That's how you make, and I said, that's how you make an album that highlights your heritage, influence, and native urges to share your nationality with the world. You add details, you take the audience by the hand, and you take them to your world. Mm-hmm. It's like you're introducing a kid to the world. Because if you dump them in the real world, they're gonna be like, what's going on?
What's like, where am I? Yeah.
But if you take them by the hand and you start introducing sounds, you start introducing things,
kind of like explain with your words what is it that you're going through,
without explaining it like too blatantly, because a kid doesn't understand.
Yeah.
So I love that it doesn't think you're an idiot, right? But it also doesn't take you for granted. It doesn't take that you know things. It still lets you know that you're coming into a new world, and I'm gonna take you by the hand. So I thought it's just brilliant. It's slowly introducing the audience to this complexity and this strange and different journey, and as it continues, it starts getting more complex, and you start becoming more comfortable with it. It's just so well made.
It's so great. And then you got like Fly, which I think it was perhaps the weakest track of the album.
It just felt less complete.
It could have been shorter, perhaps. It could have I'm not saying that it doesn't fit with the whole playlist. I just thought it didn't have enough depth, personally, in my opinion.
My pet peeve was, I don't know if it's a pet peeve, but my thing was, I just didn't like how he wrote the beat on that one.
Fair enough.
I like how he wrote the beat towards the end.
Yeah.
Wait, what did he say?
Here, I can play it for you.
He says, like, go towards the end. No, too far.
Oops.
Back. A little bit further back. Where he goes like...
turn up.
Yeah, hold up. Enemies, pull up. Can't you see, huh? You know what I mean? Turn up.
Yeah.
I like more that beat than the beginning of the song. So I thought
I thought the beginning of the song was a bit chopped up, and it kind of like
Firstly, it's incomplete. Yeah.
Interrupted the idea of what the flow.
Yeah. So
Originally wanted to be.
let us know. Maybe that was your favorite one. I don't know. You know, there's so many people watching that have completely different tastes to that we do. So let us know if that was your favorite one, or if you actually agree with some of our opinions. And then the last one, Soul, which hands down one of my favorite songs of the album, and I feel like the song requires the audience at the beginning for those first 15 seconds to give the track a chance, because it starts peculiar. It doesn't start like the other ones where it catches you straight away. But the more you listen to this song, the better it gets, because it's worth it, man.
It's such a special song, such a like I don't know, peculiar kind of taste to it. It's a whole experience, that last song, and I think that's the right way to close.
Oh mate, what a joke of an album.
It's the right way to make people say this is the man to be listening to. This is the guy you want to be learning from, because he really did an incredible job of translating his thoughts into a factual, physical and digital album, and you know, like I said it before, that doesn't happen often, and I say it doesn't happen often, but you got tons of artists that come out with music literally every week.
It's hard to make a good one,
and this specific way, this layout, this concept, this vocabulary overall, it's just so wonderful.
I wonder if, let us know if you're a rap fan, right? This was obviously down your alley, where you'll be as happy as me, I hope.
Yeah.
But say you're not a rap fan like Valeska, who's not really heavy into rap. Were you able to, to still sort of enjoy this as much as we did?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is what it did so well. It really took people by the hand. Like, it doesn't matter if you like rap or you don't. There's enough for everyone to enjoy. So really do let us know what you thought about it. We loved it, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I adored it.
5 out of 6 for me, bullseye.
I like them all. I think even though Fly was a little bit weak, I think everything in there was deeply thought through. There's a reason for everything to be in the order that it is.
Yeah.
And I think Fly, now that I think about it, because I'm looking at the set list, it happens right after H2O, and it was so meaningful and complex in the lyrics, that having something simple that chops up the dynamic of the song, like Fly,
so like self-aware to some extent.
Yeah, really like highlighted the good things about the whole album.
Good point. Yeah, I didn't see it like that. It's a good point.
Yeah,
let us know what you thought. I really enjoyed it, man. Okay, so then also other new releases that happened this week, in case you're into wanting to know what new releases happened and what we think of them. Lil Yachty released.
I like that song that he did with Drake.
Yeah. Oprah's bank account.
That was really good. I really like that.
And the video is hilarious. He's dressed up as Oprah.
It doesn't surprise me. It's really good. I really like that.
So it's called Lil Boat 3, and 22 songs, or 19 songs actually. You already know, personally, this is slightly problematic to me, because I think there could have been songs that could have been, just chopped up to be put on another project, or maybe a deluxe version,
or just simply for the sake of variety, and not so much of a repetition, because it happens when the albums are too long. They kind of repeat themselves a bit.
Yeah. We noticed this as well in the Gunna album, where the cover art.
The cover art is dope, though. I give him that. That's beautiful.
It's cute. Yeah, it's nice.
Dope.
That baby has drip.
No. I love that. That's great cover art.
The third and final installment of the Lil Boat series, and it has some coordinates. I wonder what this means. If anyone knows what this means,
that's so cool.
Go for it, because I think a lot of people know. I'm not the biggest. I don't follow Lil Yachty that closely, but I do like some of his songs.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't listen to a whole album of him, but I do have that one song that I like, and I would play. Like, for example, in this album, I love that
Oprah's Bank Account,
because hello, my boy Drake's in there.
Yeah.
But
you know, I actually didn't enjoy the collaboration between Future, Meek Mill, and him.
and
Pardon
I
me.
love Future,
And I love Meek Mill.
and I didn't like that song.
I didn't really enjoy it, no. So that's what I mean. Again, I think it always goes down to personal taste.
It really does.
But this album and also Gunna's album, which released about 2 weeks ago, are good examples of sometimes you don't need as many tracks. However, we do know the game. Streams, more songs, more streams. Yes. So look, man, money moves. I'm all for them. You know what I mean? And I really, really have all the respect in the world for these guys because they do make good music and the production behind it's great and the videos are fantastic. So it's a matter of personal taste when it comes to this. However, it would be nice to see focus on the craft and art itself rather than trying to just focus on streams and you know those money moves. My favorite ones were Split, and that's like it's like a 2-song thing. It has Split and Whole Time. I liked more the beginning Split than I liked Whole Time.
Okay.
And then I liked what's the other one I liked? Let me check my playlist. Don't Forget, Black Jesus, and which is a hilarious name, and Oprah's Bank Account.
Yeah,
So-
definitely Oprah's Bank Account is my
You know,
goal.
but that could have been me, and I'm the reason why I like covering all this music is because we have such a wide range of people's tastes and people that enjoy music differently. You know, all the way from French, all the way from Korean, all the way from China,
Algeria,
Brazil, Algeria, America, UK. So
Russia, everybody.
yeah, Kazakhstan. So I'm really interested always in hearing opinions from everything.
It's so much fun.
But yeah, there is some good songs in that one, so do check it out. It is worth it. I just don't feel it's an album that I would be able to play like from top to bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
And then also like a worthy mention, which was fun.
ANNUEL AA.
Yeah.
He was let's talk about that intro.
Weird intro, dude.
Very strange. It doesn't go with anything on the 22 track list that he has.
Yeah, again,
By the way-
problematic with that number.
Yes, but we know how the deal works. More streams, more money. More money.
More money.
More money.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I actually don't dislike him. I actually believe that he's got some pretty solid music.
You can't go to a Latino party, mate, and not
And
listen to
not
him.
play to some Manuel AA
No.
or Bad Bunny. They have a song together in this album.
It's hard for me to know which one I can remember because
He doesn't actually put the features.
not
in.
all of them. I don't know why. I think maybe because it's just so close, so they just
Yeah, they just like kind of like whatever.
do whatever you want, and it's not like they need promotion.
No,
you know what
not
I mean?
at all. And you can pick out those voices out from like miles away.
Football y Rumba with
Yeah,
Enrique
Enrique
Iglesias,
Iglesias.
great song.
So good, great. It's really like that moment where you realize summer is here.
When Enrique Iglesias is singing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
when you know. That's when you know everything's ready. Even though there's like a bloody thunderstorm out there right now here in London.
Yeah.
It's cold and it's wet, but it's June, so at some point we'll see the sun for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think same thought as Lil Yachty with ANNUEL AA. Good album if you're into the Latin American scene and you're English speaking.
Oh,
It's a good album because you'll really enjoy it, I think. However, you will catch on to the fact that it can get monotonous. It can get repetitive.
But in his defense, I actually have to give him a bit of help there. Reggaeton,
It's a reggaeton.
Latino trap. It's so repetitive. There's a box. There's a set way of doing it. There's a set way of sounding. There's a set way of using certain effects, and that is it. And it has been it for the past 15 years. Okay.
I see. Yeah.
So, actually, I believe that ANNUEL AA has kept it a bit more
Dynamic.
yeah,
He has tried to step out of that box. Yeah,
he
you're
was
right.
trying to do a little kizomba. He was trying to do a bit of ska and reggae, and you know, he's just fusioning what the Caribbean and the Latino culture actually entail and what they represent.
Good point,
and,
actually. Yeah.
And I, you know, some people hate him.
No.
No,
hate. No. Yeah, people do
I'm
hate
just
him.
saying, and some people hate him, but I actually respect his craft, and I really like that album. yes, there are a few skippable songs. I can't bloody speak.
Yeah.
There are a few skippable songs, but in the right playlist,
at the right moment,
and
at the right time.
moment, at the right time, dude. When you're getting ready to like FaceTime your friends and have some drinks over FaceTime,
Zoom party.
I'm telling you, he's the guy to go to. It's like Bad Bunny.
I don't hate.
You know when to play them. I
don't hate him. I like the fact, that the intro was weird. I like the fact that there was some songs there where he's singing, and that's not his forte. Let's say. I like the fact that he's trying to break the box. He's trying to step out of that box. It's good news. However, I don't think this was one of his strongest projects that.
Well, I don't know. I haven't evaluated his albums as a whole up until now. So
Very good point.
So I really don't know what his discography actually looks like and what his usual sound is like. I really have no idea. But what I do know for a fact is that he wouldn't be who he is if he wasn't a risk taker.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And
that's why when you said. No, hey, it's like I personally, and I think from both of us, it's like it's very unlikely that you're gonna find us not hating, not liking or hating an artist.
No. Very, very unusual.
Even if they're trash, you're seeing one stage of them. You're not seeing the final product yet.
That's very true, and with music, you've got to be open-minded because you're entering this person's world that they have crafted and worked their lives to deliver for you. So you gotta be grateful for music and for people's journeys. I actually believe that whether you're an artist, whether you're just a listener, whether you just have a certain way of thinking or seeing music, the people that are famous, regardless of their reputation or what type of genre of music they do, it's worth admiring because those journeys are journeys to get to where those guys are. Man,
it's definitely worth looking into for inspiration because you'll be surprised at how many inspiring stories or how much inspiration you can draw from even individuals that you may have preconceptions about. You may not like their music.
Yeah, always give them a chance because you might actually find something that you might like. Yeah. And talking about people that has inspired me, and this actually past few days.
Oh yeah, who's your artist of the week?
My top pick artist this week is going to be Blanco White. He is an English a guy who kind of like
alien, is it?
Yeah, basically. I believe if he told the world that he was, I'd be like, yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Because he's so good. That spent some time in Spain and spent some time in South America and fell in love with the Spanish language and the music and sounds and the cultures and the merge of everything. And his new album called The Other Side. Yeah. It's literally the most gorgeous thing I have heard in the past few months. It is thrilling and exciting, and it's different. Yeah. Very, very unusual. He was explaining in an interview that there are certain instruments that just don't work with your conventional drums or the conventional way of playing a bass guitar.
I see.
So rhythms change according to where geographically. Yeah, geographically. I can't say it. Wherever in the world you are, basically. So he's taken elements of wherever he's been. Yeah. He's been wherever he's been and collected all this information, including the perks of speaking two languages and compiled it into this beautiful album. So if you haven't checked it out yet, you should. Blanco White.
Blanco White.
Go check him out. Go follow him on Instagram. His music is awesome, and yeah.
My artist of the week, I think it's I'd say Anders. I've been listening to some Anders today all day. In case you don't know who Anders is, which it makes me angry. Not many people know who Anders is, because he's really really good at R&B, modern R&B. So it's, if you actually like Lay's what song was
Soul and H2O, you would definitely like Anders.
Yeah.
H2O, I think it was the one that.
Jade.
Oh,
If you like Jade,
yes.
you'd like Anders, because it's he's been out for a while. You know, he's been really hustling and grafting and putting in work, and I think slowly he will get you know, I think he's next up. I really believe he's gonna be huge. He is from, I actually don't know where he is. Philippines?
Isn't he Canadian with like Filipino background?
Anders. He is, yeah, Canadian with, I don't know.
Click on his Wikipedia page.
I am.
I actually really love his aesthetic as a creator. Love his aesthetic.
Yeah, I really like him.
Yep.
I don't
Doesn't
know.
really tell.
I don't know where his parents are from or anything like that.
I'd like to believe he's actually have Filipino, or
Probably.
you know, that's just his whole ethnicity.
His full name is Anders Lai, or Lee with Y. So I don't know where that
Ooh,
surname would be
maybe
from.
that could actually.
Could it be Korean?
It could be Chinese.
Could be. I don't know.
Don't actually know.
His Instagram is Anders ANDERS, and if you like a song, just listen to Diamonds. It's a great song.
Anything he has is.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So there you go. You have two artists that probably you didn't know, and hopefully now you do.
Yeah, go check it out and talk to me about it later.
Yeah, apart from that, I think you've enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this Feature Friday Plus.
I think you have enjoyed it.
And we will be back next week with Feature Friday Extra.
Yay!
And we'll continue to be talking to you.
Posted, and don't forget to like and subscribe and
do all the good stuff. Peace!
Bye-bye!